Most people don't really know what a financial advisor actually does. They think it's someone who picks a few investments, says a few clever words, charges a fee, and that's about it. But a good financial advisor should be doing much more than that. They should be helping you make better decisions, spot gaps in your planning, and avoid expensive mistakes before they happen. So, in this video, I'm going to explain what a financial advisor actually does, what makes a good one, and stick around because at the end I'll give you my top 3 red flags that should make you walk away. Welcome to Money Under the Microscope, where we make finance clear. Now, let's put financial advice under the microscope. A lot of people think a financial advisor is just there to sell products. A pension, an ISA, an investment, something with forms, jargon and fees attached. And honestly, that's exactly why so many people are skeptical, because from the outside it can all feel a bit vague. But a good financial advisor should not start with a product. They should start with you. What are you trying to achieve? What matters right now? What are you worried about? What's changed in your life? What decision are you actually trying to make? That's where proper advice starts. Not with paperwork, not with a sales pitch, with understanding the person sat in front of them. A good advisor helps you get clear on your goals. That might be retiring comfortably, sorting out old pensions, protecting your family, planning around tax, making your money work harder, or just getting organised after years of putting it off. Then they help you prioritise, and that's the big one. Because not everything needs sorting at once. Sometimes someone comes in thinking they need investment advice, when actually the bigger issue is that they have no protection in place. Sometimes they think they need better returns, when the real issue is that their finances are scattered everywhere with no joined up plan. And sometimes people are focused on one area of their finances while completely missing another area that matters just as much. That's where a good advisor adds value, not just by recommending something, but by helping you work out what matters first, what can wait, and where the gaps are. This is where good advice really earns its keep. A good advisor doesn't just look at what you've got, they look at what's missing. As an example, someone early in their career is doing a great job paying into a pension, but if most of their spare money is being locked away for later life, and they've got no emergency fund, no income protection, or no financial safety net, then there's a gap. Because what happens if they become ill and can't work? Yeah, their pension might look healthy on paper, but it won't help them cover the mortgage next month. What about this example? Someone with money all over the place, a few old pensions, some cash savings, maybe an ISA, or some workplace benefits they barely understand. The gap there might not be money, it might be structure because nothing joins up into a proper plan. Here is another example we often see. One partner knows where everything is, and the other has no clue. That's a gap too, because if something happens tomorrow, one person is left stressed, confused, and trying to work everything out at the worst possible time. And this last example could be someone focused on getting an extra 1 or 2% from an investment, while having no will, outdated beneficiaries, poor protection, and no real plan for the people they care about. That's the sort of thing a good advisor should be catching. Not just where your money goes, but where your planning is weak, exposed, or unfinished. Sometimes the biggest gap in financial planning isn't investment performance, it's that the basics haven't been joined up properly. Okay, let's look at what the process actually looks like. So you might be wondering, if I actually went to see a financial advisor, what would happen? And it's a fair question, and the honest answer is, it can vary, but a good process should feel pretty similar wherever you go. Most advisors will start with what's called a fact find. That's essentially a structured conversation, where they'll build up a picture of your current situation. Some of the key areas they may look at are things such as your income, your outgoings, your assets, your debts, things like your pension situation, whether you have any protection in place, what your family setup looks like, and importantly, what you actually want. This stage matters more than people realise, because the quality of the advice you get is only ever as good as the information you give. After that, A good advisor will go away, do their analysis, and come back to you with their recommendations. Not just a product, but an explanation of their thinking, why they're recommending what they're recommending, what problems it solves, and what would happen if you did nothing. That last bit is important. The cost of inaction is something a lot of people don't think about. The pension that never got consolidated, the protection that was never put in place, the will that was never written. These things have real consequences, and a good advisor should help you see that clearly without using it as a scare tactic. And then there's the ongoing relationship, because a one-off meeting is often just a start. Life changes, and your financial plan should change with it. A good advisor will check in regularly, review your situation, and make sure the plan still makes sense as your life evolves. Okay, let's look at what you should bring to a first meeting. A little preparation goes a long way. Now, you don't need to have everything perfectly organised, but it helps to have a rough idea of the following. Your income. What comes in each month? Whether that's a salary, self-employment, rental income, or anything else. Your outgoings. Roughly what goes out. Don't need to account for every coffee, just the big stuff like mortgages or rent, bills, loans, and commitments. And any existing policies or plans. Things such as pensions, ISAs, life insurance, income protection, and perhaps most importantly, what's actually on your mind? What prompted you to seek advice? What are you worried about? What do you want to achieve? The clearer you can be about the problem you're trying to solve, the more useful the conversation will be. Okay, so let's look at what makes a good advisor. Firstly, they listen properly. They don't just jump in too quickly. They don't rush to recommend something before they understand your situation. Secondly, they explain things clearly. You should never leave a meeting feeling like you were confused into agreeing with someone. A good advisor makes things simpler, not harder. Thirdly, they are clear on fees. And this is a big one, because for most people, fees are one of the first things they worry about. Now, paying a fee for financial advice isn't automatically a bad thing. It's a professional service, just like paying for an accountant or a solicitor. You're not just paying for someone to fill in forms, you're paying for judgment, planning, analysis, structure, and responsibility. And this is the important bit. A good advisor should be completely clear about those fees from the start. You should know what you're paying for, which charges are optional and which aren't, whether any commission is involved and who's paying it, whether there are any ongoing charges, what they cover, and what happens if you decide you don't want that service anymore. And if there's a cooling off period, that should be explained clearly too. None of this should be hidden in jargon, tiny print, or rushed past. It should be explained clearly, early on, and in a way that actually makes sense. A good advisor shouldn't be comfortable talking about fees. They should expect you to ask. Fourth, they help you prioritize. Not every problem needs a product. Sometimes the best advice is to slow down. Build some accessible cash. Protect your income. Tidy up old plans. And the sort of basics before doing anything more advanced. And lastly, they think about the bigger picture. If a decision affects your partner, your spouse, or your family, a good advisor will encourage the right people to be part of the conversation. Because major financial decisions are rarely just about one person. Right, here are my top 3 red flags. Red flag number 1. They recommend too much too soon. If someone is already telling you what to do before they've properly understood your situation, that's a problem. Good advice should come after understanding and not before it. Think about it this way. If you went to a doctor and they wrote you a prescription before you'd even finished explaining your symptoms, you'd be concerned. Financial advice is no different. A recommendation that arrives before the questions do is a warning sign. Red flag number 2. They're vague about fees. If you can't get a straight answer on what you're paying, when you're paying it, which charges are optional, whether commission is involved, or what happens if you change your mind, be careful. A good advisor should be able to explain charges clearly and calmly at the very start. Not dodge the question, not bury it in paperwork, and not make you feel awkward for asking. And just to be clear, asking about fees is not rude, it's sensible. Any professional worth their salt should welcome the question. If you leave a conversation still unclear on the cost, that's a red flag. Red flag number 3. They sound more like a salesperson than an advisor. If every road leads to a product, if you feel rushed, flattered, pressured, or steered, just walk away. A good advisor should help you make confident decisions, not corner you into them. There's a difference between someone who helps you understand your options and someone who's trying to close a deal. You'll feel that difference in the room and trust your instincts. So, what does a financial advisor actually do? At their best, they help you understand where you are, where you want to get to, what gaps need filling, and what decisions matter most. They ask good questions, they listen carefully, they look at the full picture, not just one side of it, and they help you to take action on the things that matter, in the right order, without the pressure of a sales pitch hanging over the conversation. And what makes a good one? Clear thinking, good questions, clear fees, no pressure and no waffle. Because good financial advice isn't about sounding clever, it's about helping people make better decisions with confidence. If you've been putting off getting your finances sorted, whether that's pensions, protection, planning, or just getting some clarity, hopefully this video has helped you feel a bit more prepared for that first conversation. And remember, you don't need to have all the answers before you walk in. You just need to know the right questions to ask. If you found this useful, subscribe to Money Under the Microscope for more clear, practical videos on money. And if there's a topic you'd like us to cover, drop it in the comments below. We read everyone.